Good afternoon. Welcome to Long Live Third Parties Podcast. Free Press Media Press Inc., a third parties books publisher, sponsors this podcast. I'm Andrew Bouchard. Greetings. Hello, Destiny.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing, Destiny?
I am doing fantastic.
Excellent. Welcome, everybody. Today we have a political candidate for governor in Michigan from a third party. So let us introduce this candidate. So Destiny, kindly introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, my name is Destiny Clayton, and I am running for governor in Michigan. I am a disabled veteran. I have held a lot of different working class jobs. I grew up Republican, went over to Democrat, and really realized that neither side was working for me. And I've really found my home in the Green Party. We have a lot of the same values, and I'm really hoping to increase the electoral competition in Michigan. So I am running with the Green Party of Michigan, and I am so excited.
Excellent. That's what we love to hear. We're all about advancing third parties. Since you mentioned that you are a Green member, a representative of the Green Party running for president running for governor, and before that you were the Democrat and Republican, what got you into the Green Party?
Well, I really believed in Bernie. There was some time there that I was really pushing, and then I've watched the Democrats repeatedly pretend like they're fighting, but then not really fight. And then I watched them rig two primaries and finally decided that I don't think that they have my best interest at heart. I think that they work for the corporations, and we need a party that doesn't.
So you got disillusioned with with the Democratic Party.
Yes, I got disillusioned with the Democratic Party. And then, I spent a lot of, because there are a lot more options than you would think when it comes to third parties. And I spent a lot of time really reading up the platforms, trying to understand what these different parties are pushing for. And I really think that the Green Party speaks to me the most. It's the most about equity, it's the most about protecting our environment, workers' rights, just a lot of the things that I really believe in.
Excellent. And how did you decide to run for governor in this election? What called you to run for governor this time around?
Well, I wanted an ability to run a statewide campaign. I really think that the Green Party has the ability over the next few years to become a major party. And in order to do that, though, we need people who are willing to run and willing to really put the time and work into those runs. And I was willing to do that this year and next year and really try to push the Green Party's involvement in the state and really get our membership up is the goal.
Excellent. We hope you do that. We hope you do really well.
I appreciate that.
So what are some of the issues in your election for governor in Michigan? What are the issues people are facing in Michigan that you're trying to address?
Okay, so there are some that are very important to me. Homelessness is a big one. I spent from the age of 16 to 18 when I joined the Army homeless here in the state of Michigan. And it's the reason I joined the Army, which, I think is part of the plan is to make sure that a certain amount of us stay so poor it's our only option to get out of our situations. So we really need to address the homelessness issue in Michigan. On any given night, there could be about 600 veterans in Michigan who are sleeping on the streets, and I think that's ridiculous. We have about 1,400 families that include children that spend the night on the street every night in Michigan, and it's crazy to me. We also have some of the largest freshwater resources available in the world, and yet somehow corporations have done nothing but take advantage of that and are starting to kill some of our wildlife, like our trout. And so that's the other really big issue for me. So we have homelessness, clean water. and healthcare. I really, really think that Michigan has the ability, if we wanted to do a statewide single payer healthcare system. And there are some big corporations here in Michigan we will have to take on for that. Blue Cross Blue Shield is a big one. But in the long run, it would be what's best for Michiganders. So I think that it's sad that we live so close to Canada where healthcare is a right, but yet Michiganders, there's over 1 million Michiganders who are either uninsured or underinsured. It's sad to me. So those are my three big issues that are on my platform. Of course, there's other small stuff that I'd really like to work on, but those are the huge ones.
So for people out there who don't know what single payer is, who may not be familiar with the term, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as people-powered healthcare. We won't taking all of the corporate profit out of our healthcare system and making it just where we are taking care of each other. Michiganders are making sure Michiganders are taken care of, and we don't need a profit system or anything else in between, or for someone to stuff their pockets and get paid millions of dollars to tell people no. It's really just about making sure everyone has access.
Sure. And for homelessness, what do you plan to do to address that?
I really want to push a housing first program here in Michigan, kind of like Finland's. We've found out that if you start addressing homelessness with first providing a house, people are more likely to get back on their feet. It's impossible to get a job, to pull yourself out of poverty when you don't have some place to stay.
Sure.
It's astronomical the amount of people who are like, just get a job. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to hold a job when you're homeless? Try showing up to work when you haven't showered in a week. Try showing up to work almost every day an hour late because there's no such thing as an alarm clock. It's just astronomical to me, the amount of barriers we have in between. So I want to start a housing first program where we address mental health issues and we get people back on their feet.
I see. So you believe, tell me if I'm hearing you right, you believe the first step in addressing homelessness is addressing the housing issue, and then once people have housing, that is a springboard for jobs.
Yeah, it's a springboard for jobs. It's a springboard for better mental health. It's a springboard for a lot of things. But until we have our basic needs met, nobody can work on their mental health or, their situation as much as they would like to. So, and
sure.
And that's true for anyone. If you're in survival mode, you're less likely to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Those kinds of things.
Sure. So in this election, like most third parties, you'll be facing ballot access issues. I recently read a case in Michigan. Michigan has a sore loser law. So that law, what other ballot access laws are you going to be overcoming?
There's a lot. There's a really high threshold in order to even meet matching funds. Trying to get into any kind of media is a hassle and a half. But the ballot issues aren't as bad for Michigan as they are in some places, and for third parties. And we've managed to hold on to our ballot access this year, thank goodness.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're still going to be on the ballot, and we don't have to get ourselves back on, which has been the case for quite a few states this year.
So in the last, you qualified by the last election, you got enough votes, or was it by getting the signatures?
I think it was our education. Our education candidate got enough votes to maintain our ballot access. I'm not 1,000% sure on that though, so that would be a better follow-up question for like our co-chair Robin.
Sure. So what coalitions has the Green Party built with other third parties?
That's something that we're working on right now, and it's one of the main driving forces behind my campaign is I'm really hoping to open the door to some debates between us and the Libertarians and some of the other third parties here. We're hoping to arrange some what I'm going to call alternative party events this summer, depending on corona and vaccine levels and all that fun stuff. If not, they'll be more for next summer, but really it's just about pushing the message that there's other options available. If you don't agree with me on the Green Party, that's fine. There's still better choices than the duopoly who's bought and paid for. So I want people to really start looking at alternative parties as actual options, not just a joke.
Sure. Sounds great. We love to hear that stuff. On the Muskegon Green Party page, one of the things I like is that they profile local and small businesses, urging the people in the area to support them. So how does the Green Party in your area feel about small businesses and local businesses?
You know, we really believe in local economies, and I really believe in that too. If I could get rid of all of these super corporations and replace them with mom and pop shops, I would in a heartbeat. But you know, it's an uphill battle. We always push to support our local businesses here. And I'm still going to be making that a huge part of my campaign as well. I'm hoping to start spotlighting some of the local businesses in Detroit and having them display some of my campaign information. So if anyone out there is interested, let me know. No, I'm sorry. I actually lost train of thought for that one. So you can go ahead.
That sounds good. We like small businesses too. Small businesses are great. So the Green Party in your area at least believes that small businesses are a good thing and they should be emphasized, local small businesses versus the larger outside corporations.
Of course. And you know, this coronavirus has done nothing but kill our small businesses, and Democratic Party leadership wants to pretend like that's not a thing that's happening, but it is, and we're allowing that to continue. I can't even tell you how many small Michigan businesses we've lost. I know it's over 1,000 just this year. So putting an emphasis on local business and making it where we help these people through this time is so important. It's crazy to me that these corporations have gotten billions of dollars worth of bailouts, and yet we have so many small businesses that will never reopen.
Sure. How about labor unions? How does the Green Party feel about labor unions?
So we are very pro-union. We believe that you only have power together, and I'm very disappointed in the leadership in Michigan for that. You never see them yelling at Amazon or any of these giant corporations when they know that the majority of Michiganders are being underpaid by them. You never see Whitmer at a strike saying that she's behind the people. And we really need to strengthen our labor unions. We should have our powerful candidates and stuff behind those movements instead of trying to squash them.
That's awesome. I personally have been in labor unions. I'm in a labor union right now. So we love that. That's great stuff. How is campaigning during COVID-19? How do you adjust to that, and how do you keep pressing on despite of it?
It can be a little bit hard. You know, it's not as much fun to come to online meetings. It's not as much fun to only talk on the phone. And it's a little bit harder to get people involved. You know, everyone is very stuck at home. But we are gathering steam, and we have a lot of Zoom events, and we're hoping to start doing some fundraising very shortly. It's a challenge, but it's an equal challenge for everyone, or at least mostly. At least for all the third party, it's an equal challenge. Um,
Sure.
I wish we could get
Go
more
ahead.
media coverage and an honest like look at our candidates. Um, it's one of the things we're fighting really hard for recently in the Green Party, and we're going to continue to push because there's no reason that Michiganders shouldn't be informed that they have other choices besides red or blue.
Sure. Sure. When's the election? It's
Yes,
2022, right? November?
I'm giving myself plenty of time.
Excellent.
That's part of the draw because of Corona. I'm trying to give us a lot of time to work on growing the green membership over the next year and then really pushing the campaign next year. This year is more focused on engaging in locals, getting more people involved, and setting up events.
Yeah, I see you're getting started very early. The last election is just barely over and you're already pressing
I
forward.
think it's
That's awesome.
important. I think as a green, we're going to need every second we can get. Um, and it's not going to hurt to spend the next 2 years really devoted to this. And if nothing else, if the only thing that comes out of it is that I make the Michigan a little bit more competitive and get people to consider alternative parties, I'll view that as a win.
Sure. You mentioned alternative parties. I also follow the webpage of Oakland Greens, and I've talked to them about that, and they say it's important to use the term alternative parties versus third parties. Would you care to discuss why you believe that's important,
I
that
like
terminology?
alternative because it just shows that we're different. Whereas third party makes it sound like we're always in third place. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think once people realize that we're just an alternative and not a third option or an extra, that they're more likely to vote for us. And so I like the term alternative better than third because one day we're going to be first.
Awesome. That's the optimism we need. We love to see that.
I think so anyway. I think it's just a matter of time before people start to really realize how on the same side Republicans and Democrats really are and how they point at each other while still making sure that corporations are taken care of and they aren't making sure that the people or small businesses are being taken care of. And they can point at the other party and be like, oh, it's the Democrats, destroying small businesses. And Democrats can be like, oh, it's Republicans that are making you guys go to work and die. Really, in realism, it's both of them, and they're just picking who's the scapegoat for which issue.
The Green Party supports socialism. So kindly define socialism in your view, what it means and how you
So to me,
perceive it.
socialism just means that I own my own value. I don't know how else to say that except that like my labor shouldn't be something that someone else can buy. I should own a piece of my labor. I think everyone should own a piece of their labor. And that's really all that socialism is. It's saying just because someone had capital doesn't mean that they are entitled to everything. Everyone deserves a portion of what they're working towards. And that's really all it is that workers own their own jobs and their own careers and their own businesses and those kinds of things. It's a wonderful idea.
Okay, so let's just say that socialism is enacted, how would things change?
Well, there's so many ways that it would change. First off, the amount of money that would be coming back down to the people in the bottom 50% of America would be astronomical because the majority of our wealth goes to people who just own things for a living. They don't really do much, they just buy things and sell things. And it's usually because their parents bought and sold things and now they have things to buy and sell. So once we start receiving the actual value of our labor, there would be a huge difference to our buying power. And our buying power has a lot to do with all of our other powers. Right now, most people have no choice but to go shop at Walmart because it's all they can afford. They can't go to their local tailor, their local bakery, their local butcher anymore because it's too expensive comparatively. When we have more buying power, we'll have the power to shut out some of these bigger issues.
So when we have more buying power, it's going to even the playing field, so the smaller shops won't have to charge as much comparatively, and therefore people will be more likely
Well,
to want
yeah,
to buy
and well,
from them.
think about it this way. If you actually had the extra money, you usually would rather go to a small local bakery because the quality is better. But it's too expensive for most people. These days, most people are in survival mode because they don't get the value of their labor. They get scraps. So because they don't get the value of their labor and they only get scraps, they don't have any buying power. What used to buy you like when we talk about inflation, we don't just talk about how much the dollar's inflated. We can look at like how much housing prices have inflated, how much education prices have inflated, and those are in the like 1,000 percentiles. So our buying power over the last 40 years has been decimated. I'm hoping to see that really become a strength that we have again, and giving us more power and increasing our local businesses.
I like how your definition of socialism is in favor of local businesses. I know some people that when they think socialism, they think the government's going to take control of the small businesses and stop them. But it's good to see that your view of socialism has a place, a very prominent place for the small businesses
I
and
think
local
that
businesses.
it's like increasing the minimum wage. When people have the ability to shop local, they will. So when people are like, oh, well, this will kill all the small businesses because they have to increase their wages. I'm like, but they'll also increase their revenue by a lot. They'll increase the amount of money that is coming in by a lot because all of these people that couldn't afford to shop there before, now they can. So it's this mixed bag that we really have to look into. But small local businesses, especially, I don't know if you've ever seen any like co-ops and those kinds of things are really awesome. Like farmer co-ops and stuff like that are really great. So I think that, local business one day will be the way of the future, and hopefully we'll stop all of this astronomical, like giant corporate monopolies that we have.
Thank you for explaining that to us. Do you have any book recommendations for the audience, for us, for you?
I actually spend
everyone?
a lot of, I don't have a book recommendation, but I do want to recommend that if you're interested in learning more about politics or really anything, there's an app, a streaming service called Great Courses Plus, and it has lecturers from colleges across the country, like Princeton and Yale and Harvard, and they go through pretty much any college course you can think of, including a lot to do with socialism and the different ideologies there. That word kills me sometimes. But it'll really help break that down for you. And I think that's really great.
Sounds good. Now, what calls for action do you have for people out there listening?
My call to action would be to sign up to volunteer. If you really want to change something, we can't do it without you. We can't make the Green Party huge unless people get involved. So sign up, volunteer, donate what you can, even if it's just your time, and really, help. Just come help us. You have ideas, I'm sure of it. We need better ideas too. So, come join the fight.
What's the webpage or social media links people should get in touch with you with?
Our Destiny is Green is my Facebook page. I have a few links that I can send you. I have a page on the actual greenparty.org, and I would also check out migreenparty.org. That is the Michigan
Sounds good.
webpage. It's a great way to sign up and get involved.
Go ahead. Okay, sounds good. All right, I'll try to get those into the show notes. Otherwise, we thank you for spreading your view, and we wish you the best in this upcoming election. May you get lots of votes.
Thank you so much. You have a
Party
wonderful
flourish.
evening. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye now.